afternoon from Hawaii. Thank you for tuning in to another episode of Keep Going Podcast. Today's special guest is NBA sports agent Michael Birts. And shout outs to our co-host Reggie Reeve for hooking us all up together. So, Michael, tell us a little bit about yourself, my brother.
Man, appreciate you fellas for having me, man. I love the podcast and what you guys are doing. And hello to everybody in Hawaii. I was born and raised in Florida City, Florida. It's about 10 to 15 miles south of Miami, Florida. Small town, neighborhood mostly full of athletes. Everyone pretty much from there plays football. A few of the greats that have come through my town have been Antrell Roll and Sean Taylor. May he rest in peace. For me, I didn't play football, of course. I was a unicorn. I decided to pick up the basketball instead. My pops, he showed me the ropes. You know, I fell in love with the game, watching him play. Played in AAU in high school. From there, I ended up being able to be blessed and fortunate to earn a scholarship to play at Southern Illinois University, Edwardsville. That's where I met Reed. That's my guy. He took care of me there for 2 years before I ended up coming back home and finishing my last 2 years at Lynn University in Boca Raton. While I was there, I was able to earn my bachelor's in political science. I chose that major because math killed me while I was at SIUE. Like, I could not get past pre-cal or algebra 2 or anything like that, even with tutoring. You know, I worked hard. It's not like I gave up on it, but all of my electives were like reading and history. Killed it. You know, I was all A's and B's in that. So I was like, you know what? I talked to my counselor. She was like, based on what you have already completed at your old university, you know, you could be on time to graduate by getting your degree in political science. So I was like, why not? Ended up graduating, and I was stuck at a crossroads. There was only two tracks I could go down. It was like, you either could be a professor by getting, you know, your master's in political science, or go to law school. I talked to my fiance. She was already headed down that track to go to law school as well. And I was like, you know what? This may work out all right. Let me try it. So spent 3 years there. Again, I was at another crossroads at a point in my life. I was like, all right, I got this whole JD, what I'm about to do. I was like, you either can be an attorney or become a sports agent. I think what led me to truly pursue the sports agent thing wholeheartedly, though, was just looking at everybody in my circle. Like, I've been around athletes, like I said, my whole life, based on, you know, my circumstances. Like, I'm one, and everybody in my neighborhood was one. So I was like, why not do the agent thing? Right. You know, I could be of value to them, you know, make sure they all right, and, you know, make an honest living out of it. So I was like, okay, cool. Next problem came about was, you know, how I'm gonna get a job? Who gonna hire me? 9 times out of 10 when you get in this business, well, not even 9 times out of 10, 10 times out of 10, when you get in this business, it's either you intern there already or you coming in with a solid book of business. So I DM'd everybody and their mama, man, to get a job, whether it was on LinkedIn or Instagram. You know, I'm just messaging them. Well, let me double back and say it wasn't to get a job, but it was more so to see if anybody would, 1, educate me, and then 2, let me shadow them to see, okay, if I really wanted to do this, and maybe an opportunity would come up of it. So this gentleman who picked up was Daniel Green, who is the owner and CEO of the agency that I'm with now. He was like, you know what? Meet me in Chicago for the NBA draft combine this is 2019, to give everybody a date. He was like, you know what? Just come up, pull up, shadow me. You know, we can sit down, you know, talk over a drink, and, you know, I can show you the ropes real quick. I ran into another hiccup. I was like, all right, man. You know, he messaged me back, you know, literally 2 days before I'm about to walk across the stage. You know, I already had money set aside, you know, to to celebrate and have, you know, a good time in downtown Orlando. So it was like, all right, how am I get a flight? How am I, you know, gonna get around? How am I gonna find a place to stay in Chicago? I was able to one, use my graduation money, and I was doing Uber and Uber Eats on the side a little bit too while I was in Orlando. So I hustled that up real quick, bought a flight, got an Airbnb, and boom, met him. I shadowed him the entire 3 days that I was there. You know, we ended up eating good while I was up there, so that was a plus for it too. I didn't really have to come out of pocket for that aspect, but you know, being able to pick his brain and him share my story with him face to face versus just handing over a resume set me apart from everybody that reached out to him. He said, you know, he offers everyone that opportunity who reaches out to them, and it's either they don't follow up or they don't take action at all. So, you know, that's always been, you know, my motto, especially being from down south. Reggie probably knows this, you know, scared money don't make none, for the lack of better words. So I bet on myself, I doubled down, and now I'm here talking to you fellas as a licensed NBA agent.
Yes, sir. That's what it's about, you know. You know, like we said earlier, you know, you read about that stuff in a book. You got somebody who really, they got that drive. They really want to do something in life, and they're seeking that mentorship. And when they find it, they get presented with that opportunity, but they got to go to a whole other state, a whole other city, and that's to make it or break it. You took that leap of faith. Yeah. Yes, sir. That's what it's about.
Man. It was a leap, all right. It was a leap, a hop and a skip.
like so, I've been following his journey, you know, since day one, and you know, even when he was in law school and everything like that, and it was just like it's crazy. I was like, man, Madonna became a NBA agent, like, and I see, I've been around basketball my whole life too. Like, this is the first NBA agent that I personally know. Like, it's like, you know what I mean? Like that's awesome, man. Like to see, you know, the grind and how, because I already know how hard, you know, law school is. That's the whole process in itself, you know what I mean? And to stay motivated and stay dedicated to going through that process and not necessarily knowing what your next step would be after you complete the JD. And that's a challenge in itself, you know what I mean? So, you know, kudos to you for just even, you know, getting through that process.
Appreciate that, Brody.
Definitely. So in terms of, you know, 2020, obviously everything is kind of a little up in the air and craziness. You know, obviously NBA had to modify their schedule, even overseas, you know what I mean? I know I got a few buddies that, you know, end up going late, and I still got some guys that still haven't signed yet due to, you know, everything that's going on with the pandemic overseas. So just tell me about, you know, how you had to adapt to, you know, the environment in 2020.
You said it. You just said the best word. It's been adapt. I feel like anybody, whether, you know, you're in the sports business or any type of business, if you didn't adapt to this environment that we in now, man, you already behind for 2021. You know, it's been a lot of losses, you know, personally, financially, for everybody. You know, my prayers goes out to anyone who's lost anybody in 2020 so far, man, because it's been one of those years I think everybody's gonna remember, because it's been a full 360. Everybody's been affected. Me personally, I did have some happiness a little bit. I took another leap of faith. I got engaged this year, so I hung my jersey up. I see Reggie got his jersey up, so I hung mine up big time.
Congratulations, man.
Yeah, man, appreciate that. I do not plan on coming back like Jordan with the 4.5. That's it. So that's but business-wise, specifically for me, it's just been a lot of my guys who are, you know, decided not to go overseas and, you know, are waiting for the NBA to start back. It's just been being on them, telling them to stay ready. Control what you can control. That's been our motto. Obviously, we got dealt the hand, and, you know, we can't get up from the table and leave if this is what we want to do. You know, we got to see it through. So that's been that adjustment. And then for my clients that are overseas, it's just one, making sure they're safe, you know, monitoring what's going on in Europe, because both of them are in Europe right now. And also, you know, just letting them know that, you know, that you slightly have an advantage over everybody else that's not playing and that's a rookie. You know, right now no one's played basketball since February, and you know you're hooping right now. You know, that's a pleasure. I mean, a blessing in itself. You know, you're able to adjust to being a professional before any other rookie was gonna go through this process. So just staying on top of them, you know, making sure they continue to develop properly, and myself just honing my craft. I use this time to, you know, listen to podcasts like this. Like, I love this stuff, you know, because you can just plug it in and hit play. So I'm happy for you fellas to be doing this and sharing knowledge to you know, people in the world, whether it be Hawaii or over here in Florida. Yeah, man. So that's been how I've been using my 2020 and adjusting.
Definitely. So I was your first client, wasn't it Ty?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah,
so how does that feel? Like, you being, again, a certified NBA sports, have signed, it's your brother. Like, tell me about, how does that feel?
Man, it's a pleasure and it's a blessing, and I don't take it for granted at all. I know most people were like, of course, you blood, like, you know, he ain't have no choice. You didn't have no choice. But I like to say the other side of the coin. I told him straight up, like, take all of your interviews. You know, he was but to give everybody a quick backdrop, my brother was a Division II All-American. He's about 6'6", 230, 220. You know, he phenomenal athlete, phenomenal player. He really took his game to the next level his senior year. And, you know, he was touted by different agencies. And I think what he said was separated me was that authenticity. And I greatly appreciated that, because, you know, people will sell you a dream, you know, when you're recruited. You know, I've been recruited when I was in college. You know, of course, everything sound good when you're young, but since he had that education piece already, he knew how to, for the lack of better words, spot the fake. So it's been dope. We've been growing together. Yeah, so
that's good. I saw you went off. Was it yesterday, the day before?
Yeah, opening night, 20 points. Yeah, he could have had a little bit more rebounds, but it's all right. I know he was mostly getting back in transition, because, you know, he playing the perimeter now. So
are they allowing fans at the games, or are they still kind of monitoring that?
They're monitoring it.
All right, so I'm pretty sure you and the family will catch a game here eventually, right?
Yeah, man, I'm trying to make that trip, but, you know, it's a hurdle. You know, both of them, my guys that are in Europe now. Shout out to Raquan. He's another one. He's actually from my neighborhood too. So I got two boys from my area that I represent. He's in Bulgaria right now, which is Eastern Europe. He's playing first division over there, and it's the same situation for them with Corona.
Yeah. Okay. Good stuff, man.
So, my man, I got a question. So, what would you say was your biggest failure, and what did you learn from it?
Biggest failure right off the bat was, I think, leaving SIUE.
Really?
Yeah, man, that was, for me, that was probably the first time, like, I'd come out and said that I actually quit at something, especially for it to be around basketball. Like, I've never gave up the game at all. And I think instead of adapting, like, you know, how Corona gave us a hand and everybody has to adjust, you know, I was dealt the hand at SIUE and I didn't adjust. It was kind of like I just laid down. You know, I didn't take the same approach that got me there to college, which was staying in the gym late, working hard. Like, man, like, I'm gonna be honest, as soon as practice was over with, I was gone. Like, you know, I wasn't taking care of my body. You know, I wasn't eating right, staying up all night, you know. So I think for me, that was my biggest failure, but it turned into my biggest strength now, because one, I know how to prepare. I know what it is to be mentally tough now, and I know how to adjust. You know, whatever situation I'm dealt, like, it's like, all right, how I find a solution to this, you know?
And I love you that you said that because again, you had to go through that to be where you are today.
Right.
Like it was that's a part of your growth. You know.
Yep.
And so I say the same thing. You and I both. We both went to SIUE, and basketball did not go how it planned for us at SIUE. But at the end of the day, we had to go through that for us to be here today, speaking about what we do. You know what I mean?
You know, because ego get involved. You know what I mean? We all were coming from places where we were the man.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
So that's I think what also helps me relate to my clients now.
Right.
You know, I don't even like saying that word, my brothers.
Right.
You know, because I could share that piece to them.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's whatever, it's up to them whether they listen to me or not. You know what I mean? But I think it brings them down to a different level of understanding when you have somebody that could share that.
Right. Absolutely.
Yes, sir. I like how you said that, you know, you were presented with the same opportunity, but you didn't approach it the way you approached it when you first got there. And you held yourself accountable for that.
Yep.
That's what a lot of, you know, it's kind of uncommon for some reason. So it's good that you're expressing that. You know, I hope that a lot of these people who are going to listen to this, especially athletes, you know, that they take that and they run with it because they need that.
Appreciate that, good brother. For real, man. Like it's if you want to get in this business or any profession, really, you know what I mean? I hate that people only equate it to the sports lane, but anything in life, period, you gotta adjust. You gotta be hungry. Or you're gonna fail, point blank.
Absolutely. What would you say in terms of, you know, because I honestly, I mean, obviously your transition is directly related to sports, and I'm pretty sure a lot of athletes that, you know, those who are former athletes and athletes that potentially can view this, you know, they would love to go down the pathway you've taken, you know, going from being an athlete now to working with athletes and also have an opportunity to make some really good money at doing that. So what best advice would you provide to those individuals if they wanted to, you know, go down this pathway?
I say chase three things. And this is something my grandma taught me, and I'm gonna share it with everybody else. You know, usually we're born with three things, and it's rare that a person can have all three. Thankfully, I got all three. Any business, specifically my lane, you need to be book smart. So I got that done. Book smart, I will say, could also be job experience. It don't just have to be education. So book smart, street smart, I think that's a factor that's lost with a lot of people. Street smart doesn't just mean, you know what I mean, you know, gang banging or nothing like that. It's just one, knowing how to move and to in a way have common sense. I think that's a lost thing these days. Right. And then lastly, have faith. You know, no matter what you believe in, it could be Buddha, Vishnu, or God himself. Just have that, because sooner or later you're gonna get dealt a hand like Corona this year, and you're gonna have to lean on something, and it's not gonna come from your physical self. It's gonna come from your soul and your higher power. So I think those three things, if you want to hop in this business, you need to have.
Absolutely. Yes, sir. You touched it. Faith. You gotta have faith.
That is true.
Yeah.
Hey, Grams is wise. That's fact. Like that's some good stuff right there. And I hope everyone, you know.
Man, share it, bro. Yeah. Like that's something that's been close to the heart for me for a while. Louis, you share it. Reed, you share it. And look, tell people, man, you get those three things, you good.
I'm gonna put Grams. Appreciate that, for real.
Yeah.
So in terms of Daniel Green, correct? So he's kind of one that just really helped you and got kickstarted in this particular industry. Besides him, I'm pretty sure he's someone that is, influential in your life and helps you and kind of mentors you through this process. Is there, first of all, speak on that experience with him, and then also, is there anyone else that you look up to, whether it be in the industry or if it's outside the industry, anybody that you listen to podcasts or anything like that?
Okay. Well, starting with Green, man, he's been exceptional. I mean, it's rare real is rare. It really is. A lot of people in this business, it's a lot of smoke and mirrors. They make one thing look like this, but really it's not like that on the back end. So I'm grateful for him because since the jump, I never had to fact check him. It's been a straight shooter. You know what I'm saying? And I think for me, what struck out to me the most was not only his knowledge of the business, but his reputation. Everybody that I've come in contact with, whether it's been a scout with an organization at a game or, someone who used to work with him back in the day, it's been nothing but praise. And I think that struck out the most for me because agents get a bad rep like lawyers do. It's like, oh man, they come still seek and destroy. You know what I mean? They wolf in sheep clothing. That's sort of the rep agents have. But I wanted to align myself with somebody who wasn't viewed in that. And then secondly, it would have to be, my parents. Like I'm blessed to be able to have both of them still in my life. And then third, it would be, wifey. We may not have always seen eye to eye, but she's pushed me to, to places that, I thought I couldn't reach. And then fourth would be, this includes a lot of people. Man, everybody, LeBron and his camp, like those boys right there.
Yeah.
If you listening, that is the blueprint. I know not everybody's going to be a LeBron James, but for me, what struck out to me the most with him was how he put his people in position and allowed them to stand on their own, man. Like that's the realest thing you could do. It's not breaking bread, meaning money with people or, taking them out or feeding them all the time. Allow them to grow and sustain on their own. Right. And for everybody in his circle that he's done that for, it's amazing to me because that's something that I'm trying to do, but the opposite end of that he's taught me as well, the person that you want to do it for gotta be hungry too. It's a two-way street. I gotta want it and you gotta want to receive it. So beware of that. You can't help everybody, can't save everybody. And then what the last person would have to be my professor, Professor Roger Groves, I'm sorry. I met him at Florida A&M. I sat with him at in my senior paper class, which was actually a sports agent seminar.
Yeah.
So I had to write a paper for that, a 50-page paper on,
Yeah,
I had to write a 50-page paper on the sports business, a legal topic in the sports business. And I'm grateful for him because, he was that last little bit of push that I needed to be like, you know what, you could do the attorney thing and be an agent. So he was like, go for it. And I'm grateful for him. I still talk to him, every once in a while.
Yeah. That's dope.
Man, those my influential people right there.
Hey, Louis, Bert said 50-page paper. He gonna have viewers who are thinking they was gonna be agent. Like, nah, maybe I may be an agent assistant. Yeah, I do 25. I got 25, not 50.
Hey, but if I was an agent assistant, shoot, I would expect to do the agent's paper. So shit.
Oh man.
Maybe you should do that next time you gotta write another paper. Get an assistant.
50 pages, boy. I done 25, 30, but 50, I was like, whoa.
Yeah.
It's like it's what's that saying? How you eat an elephant? Bite by bite. You just one day at a time. I was like, I'm not. There wasn't no procrastination though.
Yeah.
That's you can't procrastinate with that.
He was on it. Yeah. One thing you always been in your studies, man. That's one thing you ain't have to worry about. And I admire, and that's one thing that I admired about Mike. And honestly, that was kind of that helped me with my transition. You know, when Mike first came to SIUE, I was definitely somebody who was just ball first. Like I wouldn't even think about school. I was not even mad at all. And then, Mike, a few years younger than me, this freshman coming in, and like he's setting the example or the standard of what it's supposed to be, what it means to be a student. Observe that. I'm like, man, that's dope. You know, how he went about his business, you know what I mean? So I admired that.
Yeah.
Salute, man. For real. Appreciate that, bro.
Sir. Hey, okay, I got what I got. Okay. Cool. So what's one thing that you wish you would have known before you started?
You gotta have access to capital. Capital. I'm gonna say it again. Capital,
Really?
capital.
Right off the bat.
That's one thing I wish I would have known. I would have been, instead of spending money on happy hours and clothes in law school, I would have been saving. The overhead alone to get in this business is crazy. Thankfully, I had a little reserve set to the side, but that the test alone to get your agent license is $1,500.
Yeah.
So that's back, gone. And that's not included flight to get there, hotel,
You
all
gotta
of
go.
that.
Oh, so it's not like going to Pearson or something like that, testing site. You gotta actually physically. Oh, wow.
Yeah, so I'll give everybody a little insight who want to be an agent. So exams don't go away. If you think exams are only gonna be in the school, no. Even when you want to become a professional, you're gonna be faced with an exam. That's sort of their barrier to entry. It's basically saying not everybody built for this. If you can't pass the exam, we screening you away.
Yeah.
So it's $1,500 the ticket. It's only offered once a year. It's in New York City at the NBA PA headquarters, which stands for National Basketball Players Association. They are the union that represents all 450 NBA players. Being that you are an indirect byproduct of the union, you fall under the NBA PA umbrella as an agent as well. So what that means is all of the rules that the NBA players have to abide by, I have to abide by as well, in terms of like ethics and all of that good stuff. So you sit for the exam once a year. It's 50 questions. You only allowed to, I think, get 45 or 48 correct. So it's a small margin of error. It is open book, but you know how it is. Open book exams are harder than, non-open book exams.
They let you do that.
Yep. So that's sort of the exam. Once you pass, they give you a license, and then you can go out and hold yourself out as a licensed NBA agent. Out from there, the next thing you need to worry about is, traveling money to go recruit. I mean, you got to go to games. You're going to need money for tickets. You're going to need gas for your car. Like me in Florida, like I'm all the way down in Miami. So I was going to FIU, USF, UCF, Bethune-Cookman. Like that's Daytona, Tampa right there. So, I put plenty miles on my car when I wasn't renting. So what I did was I incorporated myself. So I opened up a small LLC. I was able to get a business card so I could deduct those expenses right there that I just talked about. So capital would be the biggest thing I wish someone told me. I just thought, as soon as you get into business, you're good. All you have to worry about is signing the player. To some people, that may be the case, but every agent that I talked to, they've said that that's been the biggest issue. Yeah. And a lot of people don't understand that. It takes money make the world go around.
So is it for the most part, is it commission based? For the most part, so it's based on.
Yes, sir.
How many clients? Okay.
Yep.
Oh, you gotta be.
Yeah, it's commission based.
Yeah, it's definitely a grind out there, man. For it, man, you gotta get it. So My question is, I remember reading Rich Paul. So obviously you have your JD. He doesn't. I don't know if he has that or not. So is that a requirement to have your JD to become an NBA sports agent?
It's not. The only thing you need is a postgraduate degree. But with the NBA, that's why when I went back to my three things, if everyone recall, I said, you can be book smart, but it doesn't necessarily have to be, formal education. The NBA, I tie that in to say the NBA, the NBPA has an exception for agents to sit for the exam and not have a degree. The only thing you have to do is show proof that you worked or been in the business X number of years. Yeah. So Rich Paul was able to get in because while LeBron was with a former agency, he interned and worked for LeBron's agent. Right. And then all the way up to that time that he worked for him, he then was able to apply for the agent license and go in through that loophole.
Okay. All right. So you just need a graduate degree, so a master's degree or something like that. That's
yes, sir.
Okay.
You gotta put that work.
Yeah, man.
It's a hustle. You gotta have some hustle when you like seriously, because it's if you don't got no clients, you don't eat.
Nope.
Yeah, that's
nope. And retention is important too. Like I knew when I got in this, man, you can be fired at any time. Mm-hmm. Like, a player not happy with his situation, a parent not happy, you can be X'd out of their lives like that. And I mean, that's a risk you take, but I think, that still shouldn't keep you from advocating for them in the best way. So that's just my approach to representation.
That is. And that's good. I mean, because I think when you're sitting, because it's almost like it's recruiting. It's like coach recruiting a player. And a lot of these, these clients or players that you're dealing with, they're 22 years of age, so their parents are still fully involved in the decisions that they make. So you talking to mommy and daddy at the same time. And then
how it is. My son is nothing wrong with that.
Right.
But the nature of this world is, and I think that's probably the biggest hurdle for kids to make the jump. I don't even want to call them kids, for young men, young ladies, because you got WNBA agents as well. Making that jump to the professional ranks, they just see the glitz and the glam. They see the change. They see, dudes winning the championship and popping bottles. Like, man, it's a business.
Right.
And if you don't get right, you will get left. It is a business. Like I tell all of my guys, and I'll be completely real. One, I'm already out of shape. Like I hardly pick up a ball, but the stuff that they go through, man, if you would have told me when I had my professional basketball dreams of like this what it would be, I would have been hung up the shoe. I would have been put them up. I would have been like, all right, you can have that. That's not for me.
Yeah.
Like I talked to one client today, to check in on him. Shout out to Leandro. Yeah. He's in Puerto Rico right now. I mean, although his situation is the best out of everybody, I mean, who don't want to be right. He's like, man, bro, I just had a 2 hour and 30 minutes practice today. I said, I thought about how many sprints I had to run, how many suicides and drills that I had to do, so I was like, man, you can have that, bro, but I don't, tell them that to discourage them, but I just do it as a laughing matter so they can laugh. And, because when you running your body into the ground every day, it breaks down on you, Right. And I commend them because it takes a special human being, man, to put yourself through that just to make a living. You know what I mean? Yeah, the compensation may be there, but what you put in your body through, it's crazy, especially when you've been playing since you were 8-10 years old.
Right.
That's why I love LeBron, and most people don't get that. Like,
you're right.
LeBron's been playing at a high level since he was a child. It didn't start when he got in the NBA at 18.
Right.
Like, it started way beyond that. And he hasn't missed a NBA Finals except 2018, right? Yeah.
When he was hurt, yeah.
So to put yourself through that,
right,
and play 82 games a season, really think about that, young fella. Think about that.
And that's true. Then that plays to his greatness, how committed that man, what he does to, and how he take care of his body, all those types of things, you know what I mean, to make sure that he's performing at the highest level that he can. It's like players like Floyd Mayweather, like guys like Floyd Mayweather, like, you know what I mean, think about it. Mayweather he's made over $1 billion in just boxing, and don't drink any alcohol. Like, I ain't gonna lie to you, if I got $1 million in my pocket, you might find me on the curb somewhere. You know what I mean? So I say this to say, like, you have to be dedicated to what you want. You know what I mean? You got to be committed. You know what I mean? So, like, if a player like said I had 2 hour and 30-minute practice, well, you got to eat that. You got to be, hey, I'm ready. Let me go do 30 more minutes. You know what I mean? Or it's like when you decided I wanted to be NBA agent, I want to go to law school. You got that 50-page paper done. You know what I mean? Because that's a part of the process. You was committed to getting done what you wanted to do. You know what I mean? So same thing, like, you know, when anything you do in life, you got to commit to something. You know, anything worth having is worth sacrificing. You know what I mean?
Yep. And then let me add too, another thing why it was eye-opening for me. In this business too, man, it's no love. You will be cut, traded like it's nothing.
Right.
You know, if it makes financial sense, or, you know, it's going to increase, you know, the organization chances of winning,
right,
it will get done.
Right.
You know, your last name can be James.
Right.
You know, you will get traded or cut if you're not living up to what they signed you for. So that accountability is another thing that kids don't think about. You know, I really do understand the importance of, you know, trying to make it. You know, you want to provide for moms, you want to get her the house and all of that. I really do. Mm-hmm. But the external forces that will be put upon you, if you don't have, you know, everything solid from your neck above, you're going to fail, man. Like, it really will test you. It really will.
That leads to a question. Like, so and you, Mike, you just seem like a very mentally strong person, like, you know what I mean, and you have a good understanding of life and the curveballs that come with this thing called life, and understanding that it's many things that you can control, and there are some things that you have no control over, right? Yes, how did you develop that? How did you get that understanding of, you know, I control what I control, but anything else that I can't, it is what it is. I just got to be ready. Like, how do you develop that?
Oof. Well, half of it is it's basketball. Mm-hmm. You know, my sport really taught me that. As I mentioned, my college situation, you know, I wasn't up to my junior and senior year. You know, I really wasn't winning in high school. You know what I mean? You know, that was a hand I got dealt. Knowing that, you know, I was playing to this level, but was getting overlooked because I wasn't winning was something else. So taking L's like that and embracing failure really, you know, it gave me a sense of reality, I guess. And from there, I was able to see, you know, what my purpose could be. And then secondly, man, my parents, like, seeing what they went through to make sure I was okay. You know, I tell people all the time, yeah, my neighborhood was whatever it was, but, you know, I was able to be shielded from that because I came from a 2-parent home, and I would be a fool to not be doing what I'm doing. That's kind of like a slap in the face, you know, to my family. Like, you know, you doing X, Y, and Z for me, but I'm not upholding my end.
Right.
So I think those two things really put life in perspective for me, because a lot of people fall astray. We all do. But can you get back up You know, that's what's gonna separate you. A lot of people just like laying down.
Right.
For me, I was like, look, I like laying down when I'm asleep or if I'm sick. That's it. That's the only 2 times that I barely sleep. My lady get on me all the time.
Yeah.
Like, because my mind is constantly like, man, I need to get better. 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 Somebody getting ahead of me. You know what I mean? So that's really what puts me in my mental space right now. The only thing I say I need to get better at, though, in terms of that mental strength, is unplugging. I think since I'm so worried about work, I don't take the time to unwind. You know, I don't believe in celebrating prematurely for nothing.
Right.
But Kobe's death put me in a perspective where I was like, you know what? You need to get your flowers while you're here. Don't just wait for that big occasion or that big deal or that big, you know, goal that you want to reach. Take those small, you know, those small victories.
Right. That's true. Hey, someone I consider, I can say you one of my little bros. I can definitely say you definitely have to do that, because that's your reset button, man. You work hard during the week, man. You grind. It's okay to go out and have you a little taste or two. Like, it's okay. Sometimes you gotta get that off. You know what I mean? Like, it's okay. You know what I mean? That's one thing that I definitely. I incorporate that. I make sure I make time for a little taste or two every time.
You know what's crazy, Reed? Man, you taught me that in college. I'll never forget. You know, we will not go in detail, of course. Right. You know, we're professionals now. Right. Man, Louis, he early put that bug in my ear, and I was like, man, you know what? Being naive, I was like, nah, man, I'm finna work hard. I came here to bust my butt. You know, I would not go out in college.
All right. Yeah.
I would not go. I was a hermit. Like, you know, me and KD started.
He came around.
Yeah, he came down eventually. That's what made me, you know, I need to do it. But it was practice, class, the month, and my dorm. That was it.
That was it.
Not sleeping, you know what I mean? Or the training room. That was it. Because I was like, I'm locked in. This is what I came to do. Right. But Lord behold, probably I'll say maybe spring break time, you know, after a while when we know, okay, we were gonna have a postseason or not. Right. I was like, it's up, baby.
Yeah, exactly. And honestly, even when that happened, I saw a change in your game too. Like, cause you're excited about being there. Cause at the end of the day, when you go get a scholarship and you playing college basketball, yes, you're obviously there to play ball because that's they're paying for you to get there. But at the same time, you have to enjoy the entire college experience.
Correct.
Because when you think about when you solely focus on ball and say ball's not necessarily going the way that you want it to go, it just kills everything for you. It's like, I don't want to do nothing, you know what I mean? So it's really like you gotta just, you know what I mean, you gotta go and just embrace the whole entire experience. And then once you do that, it makes ball a little bit more easier, you know what I mean? Because you're not so stressed on solely just ball. You're like, well, whatever. I got to a point, I'm like, whatever.
Yeah. Ooh. I don't mean to double back, but bro, I gotta say it. Louis, I'm gonna share this story with you.
Yes.
I'm not throwing you under the bus or nothing like that. I will say, me and this man right here have a gift to take. Whenever our bodies have been destroyed, we can take our mind to a different place.
Right.
Louis, in short, in college, we were track stars. I'll put it like that.
Yeah.
Man, it was one summer, man. Our strength and conditioning coach said, Louis, we had to run 5 miles. We are college basketball players. 5 miles.
A day?
No. It wasn't a day. If it was a day, I don't think we would be here right now. I don't think Reed would have that jersey on. Yeah, if it was 5 miles a day, he wouldn't have that number 10 right there in that frame. Man, bro. When we got told that, we thought he was playing.
Right.
Mind you, nothing but farmland is around SIUE.
Right.
He told us meet him here, and Louis, we ran those 5 miles.
Right.
When I tell you, I thought about Miami, the beach, man, being in Mexico, like, my mind just went so many places because my body was gone.
Right.
Like, I'm like, my legs are rubber right now. I don't know how I did it, but it got done. And I think that's what also helps me too, because my body has been places that
True.
You was coming back.
your body can only take so much.
Right.
And then you gotta have it up here. Like, bro, I'll never forget. Like that was something else.
That's a fact.
It really was.
That's a true fact. Hey, the good old days. The good old days.
Like you used to say, winded, extremely
winded. Extremely.
You got
definitely, Mike, man. This is.
He's good at that.
Oh, what'd you say?
Oh, I said, Reed got me out of my element too. He's good at that. He'll call me after a good and be like, "Hey, I see you made $3,000 a day. All right, let's go hit these streets." I'm like, "What? Nah, I gotta read." He be like, "Man, reading. We about to hit these streets."
Yeah, I'm such a good influence, right?
Yep.
But again, I understand. I see the value in how hard you guys work, and it's always like, let's a little reset, and let's, you gotta live life every now and then.
Thank you, Godfather. I told you the Godfather. Thank you, Godfather. It means so much.
Oh, man. But this is definitely, Birts, this has been an amazing interview with me. I'm glad the folks is being able to get some insight on what you do and also have a good understanding of the industry. So, I mean, in terms of just how the listeners can connect with you, please shout out your Instagram, your social media handles, so folks can, connect with you and learn more about you.
Cool. You can hit me up on LinkedIn. I'm always open to taking, any informational sessions that anybody want to have. Just type in my name, Michael Birts, and then you can find me on Instagram at michael.birts. And then you can find me on Twitter at Michael J. Birts. So I'm on all three platforms. Social is something that I'm always on, when I can be. It's definitely a platform that if you use it the right way, you can get a lot from it. So always open, because, I got a personal saying now, it's each one reach one. So, if I can always be of value to anybody, I'm down for it. I'm just passing along what my OG Reggie Reed gave me. I got another OG right now, Louis. So it's circle of life, man. Good vibes.
Definitely. Well, we appreciate you, Louis. Anything you want to add before we close out?
I just, once again, I appreciate you coming on, man. This has been a blessing, and I'm glad that 2020 was a blessing in disguise for you, because you adapted. That's what everybody needs to take. Just make sure you adapt, no matter what.
Thank you, brother. Looking forward to getting Hawaii, though.
Oh, yeah. Hey, when Reggie come down, we let you know.
Definitely. That'll work.
Okay.
Here we go.
Yes, sir.